This is Bear. Not that one. This is Bear. And this is Freaky Nikki.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is Nikki, and this is a magical stick that will grant you anything. Now, here's the problem. One of these three completely ruins everything. Spoiler alert, Sarah dies, Ian gets $1 billion, but then dies, Nikki gets trapped, and Bear will come back to Bear later. So today, we are trying to understand Obsession. Who is the real villain in Obsession? Suspect 1, Nikki. Okay, let's start with the obvious suspect, because if you explain this movie to somebody in 30 seconds, they'd probably pick Nikki, right? And honestly, fair enough. Let's look into it. Nikki digs up a dead cat from the dumpster and turns the kitchen into one of these funeral dances. She watches Bear sleep. She takes photos of him sleeping. She tapes the front door shut. She feeds him the literal cat. You see though. She spends an entire workday standing at the door in her own peace. And at boys' night, she decides to smash herself in the head twice with the bottle. And that's not even mentioning Freaky Nikki. Or the reverse walk, or Sarah. So honestly, case closed, right? Obviously, it's Nikki. Thanks for watching. Except there's one problem. Nikki is not in control because the movie keeps doing something weird. Every now and then, the real Nikki just says, "Hey, what's up?" And then she looks terrified, like the sleep photo, which says "not me" clearly. Who took the picture? And why am I still here? And then there's a boys' night. Everybody remembers the bottle scene, right? The thing that stuck with me wasn't the bottle. It was her saying, "It's not me," at least 5 times before smashing her head in. The movie is basically telling us to our face that it's not her. And then we get the biggest piece of evidence ever. The kill me scene. This scene changes the entire movie. Bear gets a text from Sarah. By the way, Sarah likes Bear, if that wasn't clear. So what does he do? Like a genius, he sneaks out of bed, does not wake Nikki up, and as he's going, we hear Nikki whisper, "Bear, don't wake her." And immediately everyone in the theater went, "Oh!" That's not even the worst part. We hear Nikki say, "Kill me." Anyway, that's not something a villain says, right? That's something who's trapped or a prisoner says. So now we have a problem, because if Nikki isn't the villain, then who is? Suspect 2, the Willow. Now maybe the answer is obvious. Maybe it's the Willow. The Willow destroys everybody's life. Case closed again, right? No, because the Willow never forces anybody to make a wish, and the Willow grants you exactly what you want. And that's where Bear enters the conversation. Suspect 3, Bear. Now before we continue, let's play a quick game, right? It's called How Many Chances Did Bear Have to Leave? Fun, right? Ready? Let's go. Cat funeral, watching him sleep. The sleep Polaroid. The dead cat sandwich, by the way. The duct tape door. I mean, kind of cute, I won't lie. Anyway, standing motionless all day. I think it's time to run, bro. I think it's time to pack your bags up. And every single time the movie tries to tell him, "Hey man, something's kind of wrong here," Bear says, "I can fix her." I don't think anybody can. Maybe me. Anyway, the moment Bear lost every single person. And this is where everything changes. Before this point, you could say people still defended him. She's still very stupid, but sure, I guess. Then the kill me scene happened, which we spoke about. There are many responses. Most of them are bad, but Bear picks the worst one because he says, "What's so bad about being with me?" I don't think you can we address the elephant in the room, you know? This isn't about you. This isn't about Bear. Nikki is literally trying to tell you she'd rather die than continue to live like this. And somehow you've turned this into a massive ego battle. Crazy, right? This is the exact moment everyone stops seeing Bear as a victim, because from that point on, he knows. He very clearly knows everything is wrong. The final brick. So we all know Sarah, the one who likes Bear. So Sarah dies. Shocker, I know. And this is how she dies. Now Sarah deserves better. Everybody agrees. Sarah liked Bear. Sarah tried helping Bear. Sarah was the only one who was normal in the movie. Also her dad. And then she gets tricked. It's unfortunate, but what really matters isn't Sarah dying. I mean, it does matter. But what happens right after is Bear helps hide the damn body. Are you serious? And at that point, nobody is even supporting him. Nobody is beating the allegations. He's on the roller coaster right now. And that's why I can't blame everything on the Willow, you know? The Willow only created the problem. And it's not even a problem, to be honest. Bear just kept choosing it over and over and over again. I mean, can we blame him? Anyway, now before we decide who is actually the villain, theory time. Okay, so before we wrap this up, and before I accuse Bear of being the problem, there are a few details I completely missed on my first watch. I watched this 3 times, by the way. Theory 1, left and right side. Okay, this is actually real. Karibaka himself reposted a reel which said this: Sarah is always on the right side of the frame, while Nikki is on the left side of the frame. Does this mean Sarah is always right? You get what I'm saying? Anyway, but apparently it's intentional. So theory 2, the poem is a cry for help. Remember the weird poem at boys' night, right? That she read out? The one that made everyone uncomfortable, right? Apparently that scene gets super dark. Firstly, because she is a writer in the movie. And the poem talks about a sibling relationship, Hansel and Gretel. And according to this theory, real Nikki is trying to say that Bear is like a little brother to her. even after everything he has done. Twisted, right? Theory 3, the cat theory. Okay, so put on your alien hats because this might be insane. Nikki is possessed by Bear's dead cat. We're all laughing, I get it, but let's look at the evidence. So the cat dies, the wish happens. She says, my cat died. Then she doesn't have a cat, by the way. And then, cat funeral, cat sandwich. Cat references everywhere. She stands like a damn cat in front of the door. Now, do I think it's true? Probably not. I just think the willow tries to mimic what Bear likes, but it still kind of makes sense. So who is the real villain? And that's the weird thing about obsession. The more theories I read, the less certain I became. Or did I? Maybe it's Nikki. Maybe it's the willow. Maybe it's the dead cat possessing her. Who knows? But after everything, I keep coming back to Bear though. Because Nikki loses her freedom. Sarah loses her life. Ian gets $1 billion, but he still dies. And Bear gets exactly what he wished for. And somehow, that is the scariest part of the movie. New videos every week. Time to snap my own one. I wish